In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 positive and negative examples of using debt in your dumpster rental business as a way to use leverage to grow your business larger, faster, stronger, better, all of those things. We're going to go ahead and get all into this, get it unpacked, and hopefully this can be a help to you. So before we get into the examples, let's talk about this word leverage. We know what debt is, but what is leverage in business? What does that mean? How can that be a help to us? How could that be a hurt to us? So simply put, leverage is something that you're able to put something into and get more than you put into it originally out of it. So you're putting in 25 cents and you're getting 50 cents, basically. You're able to put in less effort in than you're getting out of that transaction, of that exchange. So leverage is literally something that you're putting into and then getting something in return, and there's risk involved. So basically it's the lowest common denominator. It's going to be the chokehold. For me, a real life example where that worked in my business was I paid and I went into debt, technically, by getting my roll-off truck operational. It was $2,500 to get that the rails extended and everything operational as far as the functionality of it with the standard rail cans that I do have. I put $2,500 into it, and as of just the other day, I've had 25 rentals in 2 months and like 2 days. I have had a total of 25 rentals and a little under $6,000 gross from the output of those 2 10-yard cans being rented out. I had people already calling me beforehand, and this kind of will kind of come into play later on in the examples, but I had already had people calling me asking, hey, do you have 10-yard cans? Well, yes and no. I can't actually rent them out to you because I can't get it operational yet. I'll let you know as soon as I can. So once I broke the barrier, once I opened up the funnel, that was no longer the blockage point in my business. I was immediately able to start renting out my 10 cubic yard cans immediately. And in fact, the very next day I did, as soon as I got that equipment, my roll-off truck rails operational. Next, if your blockage point in your business, as another example, is you're just one person and you have several cans and you're not able to get all of them swapped out in one day and you're getting swamped, maybe it's in the busier season or whatnot, and you're not able to fulfill all of the rentals that you're supposed to be doing. You're losing customers, you're letting customers down, worst of all, and your business is suffering from that. The point in your business, it may not be equipment, it may not be acquiring customers. The blockage in your business at that point, in that example, seems to be that you need to hire a driver. If you had another driver, you would be able to tag team the load and spread it out between the two of you and then be able to meet that new higher demand in your business. So that's another example where literally paying an hourly employee or a commission-based employee, however you do that, where you pay them, you're putting something in and you're going to get a much larger return out of using the labor cost of that driver. So that's an example number 2. And then just as another side note here, if you were expanding your territory, let's say you're getting calls from people who are much further away, and you could be building your business, you could be able to actually go further. It's going to cost you though. You can use debt or literally to kind of subsidize, basically giving you a temporary kind of time period where you are getting the word out more of your business, because if you're not already getting customers in your current territory, maybe it is worth just to get the Google reviews. You temporarily expand your territory to where you're not making as much money, and maybe you do need to have some debt for that, but you're getting calls already. That's not the problem. You're getting calls from people who are further away, and you could be growing and expanding your business, not just in territory, but in customer base and all of those things. But it's the short-term cost of the extra fuel that's stopping you. So maybe that could be a possibility. This isn't one of the strongest examples I would run to, but this is definitely still a possibility. If you have your current radius and it's very small, and it's in the profitability that you have to have, but you're willing to expand temporarily just to get the customer reviews and build your business up online and all these things, like that may be an option. It might be worth it to you to be able to build your business and use the leverage of maybe subsidizing those dumpster rentals if they are further away, just to get the customers, just to get some reps in. It may be worth it to maybe subsidize with debt in your business and able to temporarily maybe use that as leverage as well. So those are 3 examples of using debt as a good lever in your business. The chokehold, the point where things are blockaded, where there's a problem, it's literally, once you remove that, once you take that piece out of the equation, the rest of your business is able to flow. It's a smooth, it may not be perfect, of course, but it's a smoother transition. And that one piece before, once that's the lowest common denominator, once that's removed, once the thorn is pulled out of the flesh, you're literally like, oh, okay, well now I can function. I'm not distracted. I'm not shut down by this one stupid little problem. So 3 examples there of using debt as a good lever in your dumpster rental business. Bad debt. Spending money on maybe your ads. And let's say your ads currently aren't working, and so you're just like, well, I guess I need to put more money into my ads. You're maybe trying to do ads on your own for the first time ever. Maybe you're working with a company where ads are currently not working. You're paying somebody else to do it, when it should be, ideally, you should be getting a much higher return because they're professionals doing this. And let's say you're just going to keep cranking up your ad spend on your business when you're already currently not getting what you should be to begin with. If you use debt in a way to try to get leverage with something that's already not working, remember, leverage, putting something in, getting more out of it than you initially put in. And it is technically, there is risk involved. And so trying to use debt as leverage in your business on things like poor ads, poor ad quality that you're already getting much of, nothing to begin with, it wouldn't be a good leverage. It wouldn't be a good idea to use debt in that case. Another example would be to try to fix equipment. In this case, I have another real life example. I have 2 trucks that are not the roll-off truck, but I have a Ram and then a Ford. They both have plows. Everything on the plow works except the electrical, as far as the switches are concerned, with being off of the whole wiring system. I can't remember how to do it. I've spent hours trying to figure that out. I have talked to other people. I've called the manufacturers. It's probably a problem that is right underneath my nose, and I still can't figure it out. And last year and the year before, I tried to figure it out, and I just couldn't do it, and I didn't have enough time to even mess with it very much. And so for me, what should I do right now? We're getting into the colder months. This is the end of November, and if I were to spend a whole bunch of money using debt to pay somebody else to fix my plows, and I add plow service to my dumpster rental business, and I pay for the snowplow insurance, and then I get another driver to hop in a truck with me, there's a lot involved in all this. And then what happens? Let's say I do put money into the plows. I get them both operational. Everything's working fantastic. We get our first actual big snow here in Indiana. And then what happens if I can't find customers? What happens when I try to advertise, but I don't know what I'm doing, how to even advertise that kind of a service? If I go door to door and maybe I get some, even my neighbors, if I go to them, but really, what if no snow drops at all? Like it already technically has, but what happens if these things further down the line don't follow through? What happens if there's further blockages down the road? And I did open up, the dam in the river right here as far as getting the plows operational, but there's multiple layers. There's multiple things behind that I haven't taken into account, that I don't have a smoother process or a full plan even put in place. With the previous example, from the first example with my roll-off truck, I already had people calling me. I already knew that further down the line, once I get this truck rolling, I have the people calling me already. There's not going to be an issue with getting those 10 yards rented out. Like that's not going to be one of the problems down the road. It was literally just the truck that needed to be addressed. For my snowplow side, should I rush? Should I go into debt with getting these operational? And then what happens on day one when I can't get a whole lot of customers? Or maybe I can't find another driver. Nobody's available to help me do these jobs. Maybe I do find all these jobs, but I can't do it alone. What happens if one of them, there's so many what ifs, but the idea is you have a process in place. And right now for me, I don't have a clear, obvious, easy, or thought, put together picture of what that would look like right now for this coming winter, even if there was a lot of snow that does drop. So is it a good idea for me to use debt in that situation? I don't think so. I really don't. And so the third example of using debt as a leverage that would be bad for you would simply just be to take a whole bunch of money to get a loan, to get, you name it, or to rack up a whole bunch of debt somehow on something with no end in sight, with no true goal. Like there is no payoff. There is no direct way to turn that money into more money. And so there's good examples of being able to use debt as leverage to be a multiplier. There's bad examples of something like, well, you haven't fully thought this through. There's other things down the line that is going to be a blockade next, and you've got to think those things through. But if you use debt towards nothing, you have a 100% chance that you're going to gain zero from it. What's the phrase? Like every shot that you don't take, you miss 100% of the time. So why can be using debt as a leverage a good thing? The first, you're going to be able to probably be able to pay back the interest and the whole loan payment, the whole loan amount very quickly. With your ability to now multiply what you're making. For me, in my example, with my equipment, with my roll-off truck and the cans, it cost me $2,500, and in a hair over 2 months, it's grossed $6K. Obviously minus fuel and dump fees and all those extra goodies, but I have already essentially been able to pay that back. I'm already ahead from where I was, and that was literally, it was just a matter of time, since everything else down the line was already figured out. So that is a very good thing. It can be very quick, using debt as a leverage in the right way. Next, it will speed up your long-term trajectory. So it's not maybe exponential growth of literally just multiplying up to where it goes like a straight line all the way up. Like we're not going to the moon necessarily, but your long-term, angle, the direction you're going, you might have been going at a slight incline and it was just going to take a long time to really build and expand. But because of using debt as a leverage and a multiplier, you're now at a much higher, it's going to take less time to get to the same place, and it's going to be growing from there. So it's going to speed up the long-term aspect of that. Next, if you weren't actually using debt as a leverage, the reason why it's so good is because you would have been losing even more money. So if I had taken listen, I'm not going to spend any extra money that I don't have right now on this extra work that needs to be done on my truck. I'm going to wait till I have the cash in hand. Well, who knows how long that would have taken to get an extra $2,500 on top of my regular budget and expenses and bills and everything. An extra $2,500 out of nowhere. How long would that have taken? Would it have taken more than 2 months? So literally, we're already upside down the other way. If I had waited that long, an extra 2 months, I wouldn't have gotten the $6,000 already that was brought in. I wouldn't have acquired those new customers that didn't want larger 15 and 17 yard cans. I have a new size or a side of a business that only needs smaller 10-yard cans. And so I've multiplied my customers. I've gotten the actual money and already paid off the debt. Like, all of those things have already been dealt with. So I'm not losing money, letting it just sit there and be stagnant, just waiting. Well, I've got $1,800 now, but I don't have the $2,500 yet. So I really hope that I can quickly get more cash real quick, because I don't know. Who knows how long I could be waiting here. Like, I don't want to be left with that. So that's why it's such a good thing that can be used in business. Then here are 3 other thoughts of why it could be bad. If you're doing it the wrong way, there's doing it the right way. There's good points there. And then there's reasons why this could be a bad thing, trying to use leverage the wrong way, what this could really mean for you. So it could cost you more than it would have actually naturally have costed down the road. If you were doing it the wrong way, you're literally going to have the debt. You didn't have a plan of action after breaking that up and solving that problem, the lowest common denominator at that time. I would have lost even more money, the potential, the output potential of that. And literally, it would have just taken so much longer. And we know time is money. So every second that you are missing out, that you're wasting, that you're losing out on, that is slowing your business down. It's not able to go at the rate that you could have been, and you're just sidelining yourself. You're basically hitting the pause button. Next, other future factors are not plugged into it. And so if you're trying to fix a problem, but you don't know what's going on after that. So if I were to, let's for example, fix my plows, but I don't necessarily have a full operation in place to acquire customers and for that to be a smooth transition afterwards. So I could have taken a whole bunch of money, fixed everything, and then what? Still be at the next point in the road where I'm sidelined. I'm stuck. I don't get the multiplier. I don't get the output that I was looking for, and now I'm in trouble. And lastly, why using debt as a leverage in the wrong way could be a very bad thing for you. It could also be the wrong direction. So let's say I'm trying to go into junk removal. I am trying to go into junk removal, but let's say I go out and buy a full junk removal truck that's, $60,000, $70,000 now. I don't have another driver. I'm not, acquiring customers in that way already. Like, there's so many other factors. So something like that, a decision like that for me right now would just be detrimental, because it would just sit there. It would be a paperweight. I'm not going to do junk removal jobs alone, doing heavy loads and all these different things like that. I don't have the process in place. I'm not even advertising for them. So for me to make a decision like that right now would just be crazy. It would be terrible. It could be very bad for me right there. But let's say that, okay, maybe that is the direction I want to go, and I slowly do build things up to it. So maybe it's not a complete lost cause. I am paying more for it. I'm paying more interest on that new truck that maybe I'm not even using yet. I don't have another driver. Let's say I do get all that process, put in place to go out and do junk removal jobs and to be able to really attack and start getting some money back in return, to be a part of that leverage to multiply it. Let's say I do that, but what happens if I do want to pivot and go a different direction, because that's not what I wanted to do? Basically, I was trying to ride a roller coaster that I wasn't tall enough to ride. I wasn't really prepared for it, because using debt, somebody else's money that you don't already have, essentially means that you are able to do more than you really should be able to right now. If you had it in the bank, you would have been able to do it, and it would have been a natural thing for your process in place, for your cash flow. However, this is a dropping of a bomb, basically, of cash into your business that if you're not diligent with, if you don't know what you're doing, if there's not a direction and an output that is more than reasonable to expect out of it, you could be stuck holding the bag, holding all of these, the equipment, the workers who are ready to work, and you can't even give them work because you haven't thought that through. Like, there's so many different factors where you could just be stuck. And now what are you going to do? Leverage is a beautiful thing. It can also be a very dangerous thing. If you're using debt as leverage to be a multiplier, to build and grow your business, it's going to take a lot of thoughtful direction in your business. You should be able to look at your funnel, to be able to look at your business and see, okay, if I were to open up the sides of the funnel, am I going to be immediately, directly able to process and to continue the business at a much faster rate, for things to be smooth, like my 10-yard cans versus maybe my plows? So think that through. If you're planning on taking any amount of debt in the near future for whatever purpose, ask yourself the question: is this going to have an immediate effect on my business? Or is it going to take 5 or 10 other steps for things to hopefully kind of maybe sort of work out for this whole business right now? If you can't say that you've got a reasonable system in place, my thought for you is maybe it's not time yet. Maybe it's not the direction you want to be going. Certainly, if not right now, but maybe in the future. There's lots of these factors, and I think we often forget how important it is to think through what's really going on with this stuff. We let people shake the money in our face and say, hey, here's your money. Pay us back whenever or however, or at whatever interest rate. We don't even care, because we're like, yeah, we're able to see a new 10-yard dumpster, see a new 20-yard can, whatever. And we're like, yeah, this is great. Well, now what? What do I do now? Do you have a reasonable expectation for this to work through your business and for your funnel to widen and for it to be faster and to grow and actually to be that multiplier that you're really looking for? Ask that question. Let me know down in the comments below if you've thought this through, if maybe you didn't and it didn't work, or maybe you didn't and it did work. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about that. Hit the like button, subscribe if this was a help to you. I'm not sharing anything that other people haven't shared on the internet or in life. I'm thinking this through for myself. I want to ask myself these questions. Am I doing what I should be doing right now? Should I be investing this into a potential side part of my business for snow plows when I don't have the process built in after that, and I don't even have guarantees that it will snow a whole bunch to be able to make a return on my, like, there's just a lot of those things that goes into this business, any business, and we've got to be very thoughtful about that stuff. So hopefully this was thought-provoking to you. Have a great day, guys. Stay safe, and God bless.